Hey folks, before we dive in, just a quick reminder. If you want to keep up with stories like this, make sure to follow S News. Supporting us by subscribing, liking, and dropping your thoughts in the comments really helps us out. Thanks for being here. So, it's not just the United States. Israel is now daring to play with fire against Russia. The reason is actually pretty clear. Reports are saying that a Russian diplomatic vehicle was attacked in the Israeli-occupied Palestinian territories. Russia's angry, frustrated, and honestly confused reaction shows just how it currently views Israel's actions toward its diplomats. And frankly, Israel's behavior is shocking. By attacking Russian diplomats, Israel is sending a message that it's raising the flag of war. It all started on July 30th, when a vehicle from the Russian Federation's mission to the Palestinian National Authority drove near the illegal Israeli settlement of Kfar Asaf, close to Jerusalem. The car had diplomatic plates, and its passengers were officially recognized diplomats by Israel's foreign ministry. Nothing should have happened, but a group of illegal Israeli settlers attacked the vehicle. According to Russia, the settlers caused mechanical damage to the car and hurled verbal threats at the diplomats. If it had just been a group of rogue settlers, it probably wouldn't have led to a diplomatic crisis. Unfortunately, evidence shows that when the attack happened, Israeli forces were present and did nothing. They simply stood by, effectively condoning the settlers' actions against Russian diplomats. This pushed Russia to act. A few days later, the Russian Foreign Ministry lodged a formal protest with Israel. The Russian embassy in Tel Aviv also sent a message to Israeli authorities.
The attack on our diplomats is a serious violation of the 1961 Vienna Convention on Diplomatic Relations. Article 29 clearly states that the host country must treat diplomats with respect and take all necessary steps to protect their person, freedom, and dignity. I'm shocked that the attack happened with the apparent consent of Israeli soldiers.
Similarly, Russia's first permanent representative to the UN, Dmitry Polyansky, condemned the attack, saying it was carried out under the lax supervision of the Israeli military. This response points to two things. Israel's army was involved in the attack, and it failed to control its citizens' actions. Believe it or not, this isn't the first time Israel has targeted Russian diplomats. In the past, Russia and 17 other diplomatic delegations from different countries were threatened by Israeli forces. This happened when these delegations were visiting the city of Jenin in the West Bank. Shockingly, Israeli soldiers opened fire, forcing 18 diplomatic delegations to flee in panic. This wasn't just a nightmare for the diplomats, it was also proof of Israel's disregard for their presence, which could damage its strategic relations with many countries. This incident should be a lesson to Israel to stop attacking diplomats from any nation, including Russia. Many countries, along with international organizations like the UN, have condemned Israel's actions after the attack.
UN spokesperson Stefan Dujarric stressed that diplomats must never be shot at or attacked in any way, and that their safety and human rights must always be respected. He added that any use of force against diplomats is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. Dujarric urged Israeli authorities to carry out a full investigation, share the results with the UN, and take every possible step to prevent similar incidents in the future.
Even so, Israel continues to target Russian diplomats. Behind all this, it seems Russia now considers Israel an unfriendly state. In fact, before this chaotic incident, the Russian ambassador had already told Russian citizens living in Israel to leave immediately. Combined with the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas, that order also sent an unspoken message that Israel is preparing for a long war. And yes, Israel did this to a Russian diplomat. Have the two countries been enemies for a long time? Actually, no, they used to have close ties. But after the war between Israel and Hamas broke out, Russia leaned more toward defending the people of Gaza. That's what really damaged the relationship. Throughout the conflict, Russia has repeatedly blamed its former strategic partner Israel for backing Tel Aviv's actions in Gaza. Moscow has also publicly blamed US foreign policy failures and America's monopoly over mediation efforts for fueling the war. Russia even accused the United States of deliberately escalating the situation and trying to drag other countries into it. At the height of the fighting, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov accused the US of directly supplying weapons to Israel. Meanwhile, Israel strongly opposes a two-state solution, fearing that Hamas would take power if Palestine became an official state in the Middle East. Russia, on the other hand, insists that the best path to peace is creating an independent Palestinian state that can coexist with Israel. Moscow argues that focusing only on counter-terrorism will never guarantee real security. This difference in approach has deepened the rift between them. Russia has also been, one of the loudest voices calling for an immediate ceasefire and an end to the bloodshed. President Putin himself warned that punishing innocent Palestinians in Gaza for the crimes of others would be a grave mistake, and he criticized the disproportionate use of force. In the United Nations, Russia has often used its veto power against United States-backed Security Council resolutions that call for a ceasefire, saying they're just too weak and don't demand a complete halt to the fighting. Far from staying quiet, Russia has been actively working to reduce tensions, talking with Middle Eastern countries and political groups to reach a ceasefire, agree on a humanitarian truce, and address issues like evacuations and civilian safety. Another sticking point for Israel is Russia's relationship with Hamas. It's true that Russia maintains contact with Hamas. Reports say a Hamas delegation, including Musa Abu Marzouk, met with Russian officials in Moscow to discuss the situation in Gaza and preparations for a possible ceasefire. Some evidence even suggests Hamas praised President Putin's statement condemning Israeli attacks on Gaza. But despite all this, will this moment become a real turning point, leading to a face-to-face confrontation between Russia and Israel? Finally, I just want to thank you all for listening. Don't forget to follow S News and keep an eye out for future videos. If you liked what you heard, go ahead and subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Thanks again.